This is The Drive with Dale Lolley and Matt Williamson on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. SNR, Steelers Nation Radio.
Welcome to The Drive. I am Dale Lolley. He is the Matt Williamson. It's a beautiful Thursday here. Fall, chilly type of day, but sunny.
Yeah, threw the shorts back on. Nice out.
Look at you.
Sun out there. It's beautiful.
You can't see you from the waist down here.
All right.
Actually, he doesn't have anything on.
But I rarely wear anything from the waist
He rarely wears pants, and we're not talking about shorts either.
Just my Speedo.
Yeah. Oh, there's a visual. He is the Matt Williamson. I am Dale Lolley, not wearing a Speedo. And this is The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. And, Matt, I would like to start the show off today not by talking about the Steelers quarterback situation.
All right.
I would like to talk about the Jets quarterback situation.
Okay.
So the Steelers will be facing a quarterback who barely played last season.
Right. 4 snaps, right?
4 snaps after being traded from the team where he became most famous and then being given a gajillion dollars. He played 4 snaps, didn't play. He's come back this season, and Aaron Rodgers he hasn't looked Aaron Rodgers-ish. He looks like Aaron Rodgers light right now.
I agree with most of that. Now, one thing about his history I think people forget is his last year in Green Bay wasn't particularly great either.
26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions.
Okay. That last year. He played the whole season, though,
Yes,
right?
that was the whole season. That was 17 games, yes.
Okay.
They were 8-9.
But he was like MVP-ish right before that.
37 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Okay. I think
12 interceptions were second most in his career. Beyond the first year he started, he threw 13.
So I'm going to use this analogy again because it's a good one. There was a stretch in Rodgers' career that I thought he was the best quarterback I've ever seen. And I now think that's Mahomes. That's more my style personally than a Brady, who's steady and Iceman. I'm more the Maverick type, And what I always used to say about Rodgers was...
I was always a Goose fan, but that's...
Goose is all right. Yeah. I got to just tell you a good story. I have to do this. We did a social... Me and some buddies at the fraternity house in college decided, what if we could... I'm going to call... let's give yourself your own nickname. And I went with Goose. And I just started calling myself Goose. Didn't stick at all. But it was a fun little experiment. We had some chuckles over it. But anyway, there's more to the story I shouldn't tell. But anyway, I thought Rodgers' highlight tape was as good as I've ever seen. You know what I mean? Compared to Marino and Elway and all the greats. And his low-light tape might have been better. There was very few mistakes. His interception numbers are bonkers. His touchdown-to-interception ratio, him and Mahomes are the best of all time. Russell Wilson's third, by the way.
Yeah.
Shocker. But now the low-light tape is growing at a rapid rate.
They're more per game.
More per game of bad decisions or holding the ball when he shouldn't or forcing something in, a little bit more of writing checks your body can't cash anymore.
Yeah.
A little bit more of that.
And it used to be, and this is why I say he's Aaron Rodgers light. He was actually a better runner in my mind than Mahomes is. He's a guy.
I know where you're going with this.
He's a guy that could escape the pocket. If you needed 7 yards, he got you 8
every time,
and then ran out of bounds and held the ball.
Oh yeah,
basically never took a hit.
Yeah, right. I mean, slid,
and it's just maddening.
Down.
Yeah,
yes, so frustrating. Mahomes has a lot of those qualities.
Mahomes does it too. Yeah. But I thought Rodgers was quicker. Mahomes sometimes looked like he's effective.
He's a weird runner,
but it looks like he's all legs and arms and just kind of
I mean, he's bow-legged too, like Elway, and I mean, he's just a weird athlete. I mean, very balanced.
But Rodgers was quick when he did it.
Yeah, and you and I have talked about this off the air. I think his quick twitch athleticism is failing him a little bit.
Yeah.
He was never the fastest, but he could always do that, and the quickness within the.
Just
the
a quick
boxing
slide
ring.
and throwing the ball always up in the air and stuff
feet
like
off
that.
The ground. And I was told many times he would go all practice without never throwing a ball with his feet touching the ground, just to do it, to work on it, weird stuff like that. I still think he's an exceptional thrower of the football.
Oh, I do too.
I mean, exceptional.
I mean, he just flicks the wrist and it's gone.
And it's leading guys, and I bet he can't wait to go back shoulder again with Devontae and the stuff that it's uncoverable. But he's not quite the same. I mean, he's a little older, and if we've talked about a ton, he definitely likes contact less. I mean, as all those guys do it. I mean, Ben did too. I mean, like all the greats when they're at the end.
And it's been really evident in the last 3 games, all losses. He's taken 11 sacks, and he's been hit 26 times. And I say that his time to throw is the second fastest in the league.
That's where I was going to go with it, too. That's why I whipped the laptop out here. I mean, his yards per attempt is only higher than 6 of the qualified guys. So he's not really throwing it downfield. Fine, but his completion percentage is only better than 5 of those guys.
Yeah.
And time to throw is low. I mean, like, it's a little bit of bend at the end. I mean, the ball's coming out quick, but your completion percentage should be higher in that regard.
It should be, yeah.
And I'm sure getting Adams will help. There's no question about that. I mean, he would help anyone, but and the tape shows it, and I don't think he trusts his line, which I understand. They're a bunch of older dudes, and
they've been good.
What's that?
The Jets' offensive line has not been good.
No, and there's names people know on there.
Yeah.
I told you off the air, I stole this from Brandon Thorne, who I think is the best offensive line guy out there. And Brandon more or less just said, I think Tyron Smith's one of the best left tackles I've ever seen since I've done this in the last 10 years or so.
Again, if this was 5 years ago.
Oh, I mean, he'd be
yeah.
He's a Pro Bowler. But one thing that's really hurting Smith on the left edge, which I'm happy Highsmith's back for this, is Smith was a first-round pick, and he's a rare player. Like, he could be an underwear model. Not many tackles could be an underwear model. Like, he's got a V, and he's ripped, and his arms are like 37 inches long. And now that we're on YouTube, like his arm could grab Tyler by the head over there. I mean, and he has kind of a strange, because he's so gifted, he would really hurt guys with that long outside punch. It's like from across the room. And it's not there for him anymore, and he's getting beat to his outside edge a lot. And
yeah, 5 sacks he's given up.
Yeah, and I'm sure Highsmith's aware of all this. If not, pass it along.
Well, in this one, because of that, you'd love to have Herbig available with that speed ball off the edge and the duck under. Like he's reaching out there to get the punch, and Herbig goes underneath it.
Great point. That's a great point.
Highsmith can do that.
Yes.
But he's more of a power type rusher. He's got the spin move. I don't know if that's going to be real effective against Tyron Smith, but
he's a better bull rusher than Herbig. I mean, right. I mean, it's a great point. Herbig would stylistically be a better fit, in terms of taking advantage of that. And you mentioned it, too. I'm stealing your words. I mean, he was a little stiffer than he was. I mean, he was an extreme athlete.
The last couple of years in Dallas, it was back issues because he's so tall and you're always bending.
Yeah, I mean, you never lose your back issues. He's had them every step of the way. Usually misses a game or two.
Yeah. So, I wonder if at times, and we've seen them do this here and there in the past, maybe you have Watt go over and take a couple snaps on that side.
Yeah. I mean, Watt often wins to the outside, almost always.
His duck under, ghost move is unbelievable.
And even if it's only 90% as good as from the other side, well, still might work just fine.
Right,
right.
But Watt against Morgan Moses doesn't bother me either on the right side. They've seen each other a lot.
They've seen each other a lot. Right.
He's not particularly good at this point.
I think he's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fine.
And I think
he's a placeholder for. They both are placeholders.
I think I saw this on NFL, the Next Gen stats. Morgan Moses has had 69 pass rush snaps against T.J. Watt
in his life.
Okay,
yeah.
Which tells you a lot about how little the Ravens actually throw the football.
Let's say the run percentage is so low. Right? Yeah. They played twice a year, unless someone missed a game I didn't know about. Right?
But Watt has, I think it was 10 quarterback hits and 4 sacks.
In 60-some snaps. Wow. I mean, if you're getting 1 out of 6, 1 out of 7, right, that's great.
Yeah.
That's a great ratio.
So
you can take that all day long.
Yeah, I don't know. And honestly, Cam Hayward's playing maybe the best football of his career.
Yes. He's been awesome.
So
I think Benton's pass rush has been really good, too.
Benton's pass rush has been – I don't know, in this one, because he wants to get the ball out so quickly, is that quick pass rush? Are they going to leave themselves open to that? Or are they worried about Watt or Highsmith winning at the snap and getting there? Watt leads the league, I believe, in pressures under 2.5 seconds.
Quick pressures.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
His first step is just ridiculously fast.
I also wonder, I'm not sure who said it, but I heard third-hand information or second-hand information that Mike Tomlin said, you can't just play the same defense against Rodgers. And, of course not. I mean, you can't do that against any of the –
I told you that.
Okay, I knew I heard it somewhere today when we were at the facility. I don't know who told me that, but I guess it was you, and that makes sense. I think we were on live video when I heard that.
Which will drop soon.
Now it adds up.
Yeah,
that should drop soon. But I wouldn't blitz him heavy. I mean, they've been a low blitz team. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that foursome should get home
They
pretty
should.
well.
Yeah.
And if you're going to blitz the guys and get the ball out in 2.5 anyway, you might not even get home. You know
Right.
what I mean? But you would like to get hits on them, even if it's
I'd
ball
pick-
comes out,
I might
drill
pick
them,
some
you know.
spots with a Landon Roberts or Patrick Queen. Just
A-gap stuff.
get
right.
there.
Yeah.
You know.
And, just be disruptive. and-
especially if they're doubling Hayward.
Yeah. No, I mean, agreed. I've been going back and forth on it all week. Like, should they mix things up, more blitz? I think they've been a little vanilla no matter who they played.
But it can't come from the edges.
Right.
It takes too long to get there.
Like Beanie Bishop and stuff, no.
Yeah.
But A-gap, yes.
Yeah. And just show it, and sometimes you drop out, and sometimes you're coming, and make them guess when. I want to hit him.
I want to hit him, right? That's definitely a key.
Yeah, because the last 3 games, and I know he threw for 294 yards against the Bills, but it wasn't a good game.
It wasn't super
necessarily.
clean, right?
Yeah.
He got hit a lot.
He got hit
And
a lot. He
didn't
threw
like
some
it.
errant balls, and it was 2 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. Their last 3 games, they've scored 9, 17, and 20 points with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. Even the wins, 24 and 24 points, and they lost the opener to the 49ers with 19 points. This is not prior to acquiring Devontae Adams. And now maybe that changes, but this is
Well,
not a
it's part of why
high-powered.
they did.
Yeah,
Right.
but it's not a high-powered offense.
Not really. And it should be because it is
Despite
good
the
football
pieces,
players,
yeah.
right? And some of it, like to your point, the name, and this whole team has a little bit of that because some of these names aren't quite as good as their tape at this moment, or the other way around. The tape's not quite as good as their name.
Yeah.
Tyron Smith's a good example.
Yeah, the name on the back, if it was Johnson,
Yeah, you'd be like,
Tyron Johnson, you'd be like,
he's
"Ah,
not
that
great."
guy might not be an NFL player anymore.
I dug this one up. I'm sure you saw it too. Is the first 3 weeks they averaged 2.31 points per drive. That was 10th.
Yeah,
The last 3 weeks, 29th. It's a whole point per drive less.
yeah.
Now, I do think last week was a little different. I mean, lumping those 3 weeks together is a
But
little
they got
unfair.
the running game going.
Because they got the run game going.
Yeah.
It's a different coaching staff. Now you have Adams. I mean, it's a team in flux. They're going to go one way or another, but it's going to be different.
But they scored 17 points against the Vikings, who have a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
That was in Minnesota. They had 9
That
points.
was in London.
Or in London, I
Yeah,
should say,
yeah.
yeah. They had 9 points against Denver at home.
Mm-hmm. Also a good defense.
Also a good defense.
But the Steelers are good defense.
Steelers are good defense.
Right.
They had 19 against San Francisco in the opener. Another good defense.
Yeah.
Like they scored 24 against New England and 24 against Tennessee. Now Tennessee also has a good defense, but Tennessee, if you remember, that
Yeah,
was in
plays
week
good
2. That's when Will Levis was just deciding willy-nilly to give the other team a touchdown.
Right. They may have even scored on defense that year.
I think they
that
did.
week, Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause they also have a block kick. I can't remember if they scored on that or not, but they've
It sets you up for things.
set you up for things.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I think they're super dangerous. I'm not saying they're like
I
a
do too.
sleeping
I mean,
giant. but-
Again, you worry about because of the players that they have. You're like, if these guys get it together, you can lose to them.
yeah, and Saleh gets let go, but the defense wasn't the issue at all. I mean, well, it's not perfect, but I mean the offense has been the problem of why they're
Yeah.
not winning games more so than the defense. And he's a defensive guy, but when you're the head guy, the whole thing's your project.
Especially when Aaron's unhappy. And
Mm-hmm.
he can say as much as he wants that he didn't want to make that coaching
Sure.
change. But,
there's no doubt he had some influence.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers averaged 2.76 air yards per pass attempt
Very low.
against the Vikings.
Yep.
He threw the ball
blitzing like crazy, getting the ball
54
out,
times,
not wanting to get hit.
forcing
right.
him to get the ball out before he wanted to.
Yep. I mean, I'm sure Steelers and Vikings don't play defense the same way, despite Flores being here. But you have to pull some stuff off that tape.
Yeah.
Have to.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
I mean, Flores' defense is like anything else in the league. I don't know this year, but I'm sure it's extremely close. Last year, they led the league in rushing 3, and they led the league in rushing 6 or more. You don't know. You're getting everything. You know, maybe I'd take a little page out of that. I said before I wouldn't be real big on blitz, but bring a 6-man pressure or two that you haven't shown all year. Yeah, maybe
This might be the game to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, the receivers are scary, but still.
Yeah, you got to trust your cornerbacks. I think your cornerbacks are certainly better than Minnesota's.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So trust them.
Yep.
And you still got Minka Fitzpatrick on the back end.
Mm-hmm. And you might end up giving up a big play, but
You might make a couple.
Yeah, right. I mean, if the ratio is still in your favor.
What you can't do is allow Aaron Rodgers to sit back there and pat the football.
No, because he's going to pick you apart. Yeah. That absolutely is not going to be okay. If you're not getting home with 4, then it's time to change things.
Yeah,
if you're getting home with 4, that'd be pretty nice.
If he's just standing back there in the pocket, scanning the field and not getting hit,
he's going to throw for 300.
You're going to be in trouble.
Absolutely. I'd be shocked if that's the case, though.
I think I would be too.
Mm-hmm.
I think just because of what watching the last 2 Jets games.
He's getting big hits.
Getting back to where we started this at, their offensive line. It's rough.
As much as they've invested in it, too. I mean, I think Vera Tucker's a good player. I think Tippmann can be a good player. The older tackles are a little concerning, so they drafted one in the first round. You know, I mean, they understand that
they tried to address
problem.
it. Yeah.
It was really bad last year, bottom of the league last year. And they're not quite getting the return on investment I bet they're happy with.
Yeah, I would bet so as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to a break. He is the Matt Williamson. I am Dale Lolley. You're listening to The Drive here on the Steelers Audio Network. When we come back, we'll talk about the Steelers injury report today. Mentioned that one Alex Highsmith looks like he's going to be back this week. We'll see who else is available right after this. And welcome back. I am Dale Lolley. He is the Matt Williamson. And this is The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. And you can listen to The Drive every day, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. on the Steelers Audio Network and Steelers Nation Radio. You can get the podcast on the Steelers official mobile app. And, of course, you can also watch us on YouTube. And, Matt, there were a lot of comments on YouTube.
Shocker.
Yeah, in this past episode, yesterday's episode.
Yesterday.
Apparently, we hate Justin Fields.
Yeah, so I've heard.
Yeah, so there's that.
Yeah.
Nothing could be further from the case, but
True.
That's neither here nor there. But if you point out the flaws in somebody's games, and you're just not going to be.
I don't quite get it. I mean, in that it's almost Fields versus Wilson is almost like the presidential debate. If these people feel so strong about one or the other and therefore hate the other guy or get mad at you if you say anything negative about either one. I don't know. I mean, no one's really even seen Wilson play in a Steeler uniform.
They have not.
You know what I mean? Unless you were at camp every day or at least a little bit. You saw some.
And I've also seen that, he's been cast off now by 2 teams. I only wish that I could be cast off by somebody. Would my wife cast me off and send me somewhere else that would pay me?
That gives up a bunch of first-round picks for you?
A bunch of first-round picks and 60 or $70, $80 million, which is what Denver did for him.
Because they wanted him so bad, right?
It's no different than Aaron Rodgers.
Right. Or Watson. They don't
Watson,
all work. I mean, these are guys, they're big-time quarterbacks at the time that got traded for a lot and paid a lot.
Yes.
That's not cast off.
That's not a cast off. That's somebody wanted you.
The Denver situation is
Denver situation was different.
Right.
Understandably.
Right.
But it was a situation where they brought Sean Payton in, and Payton has, quite frankly, just wanted to bring his guys in.
Mm-hmm. And they're not a good scheme fit at all.
Not at all.
I mean, I'm sure he knew that coming in, that we'll get through this year with Wilson. They didn't play in the last 2 games of the season, knowing that they don't want to be on the hook for an injury.
He didn't get benched because of play.
No, he wanted to get in.
They didn't want to get him injured, so then they had to pay him guaranteed money the next season.
Right. Raiders did the same thing the year before or that same year with Carr.
Yeah.
When they knew they were moving on, you shut him down. Otherwise, his cap ramifications if he gets hurt.
Huge.
Right.
Huge. Anyway, so let's get to the Steelers injury report here.
Real quick, by no means am I saying his time in Denver was a raging success.
No, the first year was awful,
right.
but Nathaniel Hackett.
First year was really, really bad.
Nathaniel Hackett.
Yep.
The guy the Jets just fired as their offensive coordinator, essentially.
They're lining up against his offense this week.
And then, again, another FOA, friend of Aaron, who that didn't work.
No, he was a disaster as a head coach.
Yeah. So Steelers injury report today. Najee Harris, full participant. Did not practice yesterday. DeMonte KZ upgraded to limited today.
Oh, that's a step. I didn't have any hope.
Step in the right direction.
Okay.
Nick Herbig and Zach Frazier didn't practice, but they've already been declared out.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Highsmith, a full participant today.
Great. Much needed.
Dylan Cook activated his window today to return to play. So he was limited today. That's a foot issue for him. Again, so you're going to maybe get one of those pieces back on the offensive line here. If not this week or next week, certainly after the bye week.
Yeah.
They got 21 days to do something there.
I'd be shocked if his 21 days comes and goes and he's...
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, right.
You need Dylan Cook.
Right. This is not like Aaron Rodgers last year when he came back. We're going to activate the window.
And I understand this isn't Troy Fatanu that we're talking about here.
But it's a backup tackle, but all the help you can get on that O-line right now is, it's DEFCON 4.
Isaac Seumalo, full participant. He was resting yesterday. Michael Pruitt, full participant today, 2 days in a row.
Good. This gives you more options.
Yeah. Cordell Patterson did not practice again today with that ankle.
Wouldn't feel. You got Warren.
Yeah. TJ Watt, full participant. He was resting yesterday. Cam Hayward resting again today, did not participate. I don't care about that.
I don't care if he practiced again all year.
He could just be in bubble wrap during the week and cut it off of him and let him go. If he keeps playing the way he is playing now,
do whatever you're doing.
He's been the best defensive tackle in the league this year.
Right there. There's no question.
I mean, if you look at the all-around game, pass rush and run, there's nobody better.
I think he's right at the top. I'm not sure I put him one, but he's right at the top.
I mean, some people say Chris Jones, and Chris Jones is an excellent pass rusher.
The guy they're seeing next week, Lawrence, is
really good.
Ooh.
Yeah, really good.
They really hope Frazier.
But I don't know. I don't know that he rushes the passer quite as well as Cam.
In the same ballpark.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are great players.
Yeah, but I mean, he's playing at an all-pro level this year.
Yes. 100%.
So I don't care if he doesn't practice.
Oh, no, not one bit. And I'm with you. I think this might be his best season to date.
He has been a terror.
And I thought it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But this is every bit as good, if not better.
Just defies Father Time a little bit.
Yeah. He's beating up on people.
I mean, just throwing guys. He's throwing guys out, just tossing them.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here. And then Larry Ogunjobi was resting yesterday. He was limited today. So,
okay. Yeah.
Also, but added to the injury report today, Roman Wilson with the hamstring.
That wasn't his original issue.
No, and he had no injury designation yesterday. The original injury was an ankle, so he tweaked something today.
I feel bad for him. I mean, because you hate to. Okay, he finally gets a hat last week. I think he ran 4 routes, something like that, which we knew was going to be a struggle.
You got to kind of ease him into it.
Yeah, and frankly, it's such a small deal, but when the game was at hand, I think I would have had Wilson out there the last series or two just because. Not that it made him that much better or anything like that, but he could run more NFL routes. Now, if he gets hurt this week and he doesn't help on special teams, and guys like Pruitt are coming back on offense, you're going to probably have 4 tight ends active. It's going to be tough for him.
Yeah.
It's going to be really tough for him, right?
And I've been asked that question. I've been asked about him once. I've been asked 100 times. Why hasn't Roman Wilson done anything yet? He missed all of training camp.
Yeah.
He missed the entire preseason and didn't really start practicing in full until just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like, this is a moving – you want to talk about getting on a moving train?
It's rough. Real rough.
It's one thing for a veteran to do it.
Yeah.
It's something completely different to ask a rookie to get in there and say, okay, we're going to put you out there 50 snaps.
I know. And
I don't care how much you think you need wide receiver help. It's really hard to do.
It's really hard to do. And no one's going to say Jefferson and Austin are tremendous players that he couldn't get past. But it's not going to be easy. I mean, when's he going to be able to prove himself?
Right. Right. On the Jets,
you can't just hand him the number 2 job.
No.
And just run everybody,
On the Jets side of things, well, the 2 big ones, Michael Carter and DJ Reed, did not practice again today.
Okay. All reports are they're long.
They're
shots.
probably not going to play. Mike Williams was told to stay away again today. Did not practice.
I would be shocked if he's.
I'd be shocked if he's a Jet next week.
I say this time next week if he's a Jet.
Tyler Conklin limited again today with a hip issue.
Okay. I mean, he's a solid starting tight end.
Will McDonald with the shoulder limited again today.
Yeah, he's their best edge guy.
Morgan Moses with the knee limited again today.
I do know they rest him, veteran rest stuff, but
yeah,
I mean,
he hasn't played a lot this year.
Mm-hmm.
Tyron Smith limited again today. That's considered a veteran rest day.
Okay, adds up. Both those tackles are going to get that all year.
Devontae Adams, full participant. Aaron Rodgers, a full participant after not practicing yesterday. And Chaz Surratt, who was limited yesterday with a heel. He's an inside backer. He was a full participant.
Okay. The corners are the big thing.
The corners are the huge. The corners are the 2 biggest injuries going into this game.
Yeah. I
On either team.
Besides Frazier. I mean, the guys we knew are out.
Yeah. But their two corners being out to me is a bigger deal than Frazier being out because of the way that their defense is constructed.
I said it's very corner reliant, and they have another great one, but then the drop off is massive.
Massive.
Gardner to all their other corners.
Like when we were initially going into this game, if we ranked the cornerbacks 1 through, let's say 6, because you put your top 3 guys out there, it might have been Gardner,
Sauce, Porter,
Reed.
Probably. Jackson's had a really good year.
Jackson's had a really good year, but Reed has been really good.
And Carter's one of the best slots in the league.
And Carter's one of the best slots in the league.
Yeah. I mean, maybe a different way of looking at it is how many trios of corners would you take over the Jets? Maybe none.
Maybe none.
Yeah. And that's a really good group.
And that's what their defense is set up to play to that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have one of those guys, you can kind of piece it together.
Yeah.
2 of them, it gets really difficult.
It does. However, if I was looking through a Jets perspective, this is one of your better matchups to try to pull that off. I mean,
maybe.
Because
it has been to this point, but with a quarterback change, will it still be that?
That was a very telling thing to watch Sunday night. I mean, can they pick on bad corners without Pickens? Other than Pickens, you know what I mean? It'd be really promising if they can.
Yeah.
And do.
Oh, no doubt.
That's the thing, right?
And that to me is the biggest thing with the change at quarterback for the Steelers is that I've seen guys. I've been live in the stadium for every Steeler game, looking from the press box view, and I've seen guys open.
Yeah, right.
When people say, "Why are you so hard on Justin Fields?" Because I've seen guys open.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have to watch the all 22 to see it. I've seen
you're
it
in the stadium, right?
And the ball hasn't gone to them.
And if you're just watching on TV, it's hard to see that, folks. I'm just going to tell you.
Yeah.
We've talked about this 1,000
that
times.
happens with every quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger missed open receivers.
You can't see
Aaron Rodgers has
time.
missed open receivers.
Right. And when you say missed, you're not talking about
I'm not talking about overthrowing them. I'm talking about just not seeing them.
Right. Nothing makes coaches crazier. We talk about that all the time. Like, I'm going to dial this route combination up and this down and distance because they usually play cover 2, and here's my cover 2 beaters, and it's free. He doesn't throw it.
Yeah.
There's no stat for that, but it's frustrating, as a coach. That
bit.
makes them crazy. I mean, I've been watching tape 100 hours this week and doing my work, and you don't let the one fly when that was what the whole play was designed to do. That's harsh.
It really is, and so
we're not Fields hating. It's just these are facts.
That's a fact,
right?
And there have been situations where again guys have been open that haven't gotten the football, and largely it's been Calvin Austin and Van Jefferson.
Yeah.
I don't think they're bad receivers. I just think they haven't been getting the football.
I tend to agree. Now, there are some of those plays where Fields picks up 12 yards in the feet. You know
absolutely.
what I mean? And move the chains, and everybody's happy. But that's not how the plan was designed.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of how he's being coached too. Is if you're being pressured and you're sitting there patting the ball, go. You don't want to be taking hits in the pocket.
Yeah. So we'll see if that gets better, and to see if the Steelers are able to attack that a little bit more so than they certainly would have been able to do if Carter and Reed are both playing.
Right. I mean, the challenge for those guys is much easier now.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think. Backup corners can play well too, but those are injuries you like to see going into this matchup.
Yeah. I think it's also telling that, the Conklin, Will McDonald, Morgan Moses, Tyron Smith. For Moses and Tyron Smith, these are older guys.
Yeah.
They don't need a ton.
No.
Will McDonald's a young guy, though.
Oh, he's
a second-year player.
Right. No, he is a legit injury.
Yeah. He's their best pass rusher.
Without question. He's a speedball off the edge, but he also plays hard. He's really lean. I mean, he's 230. He's got a small waist. He's not a huge guy, but he's long. And weirdly, in college, that three-man front they play in college is so popular that he kind of had to play like a 3-4 defensive end, so you didn't see as much edge stuff as he's been doing there, but he's really good at it.
Yeah.
So he plays hard.
No, there's no doubt about it. And again, he's a good football player.
He is.
You'd like to see Broderick Jones, when he locks onto that guy, punish him.
In the run game, you've brought this up a lot, that attacking their edges seems like the best move, especially with your backup center and and Quinn Williams.
Don't try to round the middle
there.
against Quinn Williams.
Yeah, and their backers are good. Their backers are good interior and outside. But Roger Jones has had his struggles this year. But if I can get him coming downhill in a run game on McDonald, that should favor him.
Should.
I mean, that absolutely should.
Yeah, it should. And, the other thing is with untested cornerbacks in there, I want to see how these other guys tackle.
100%.
How willing are you able to do it?
Yeah,
and the other thing, their backers are good.
They are.
But C.J. Mosley isn't a sideline-to-sideline guy anymore.
No, he's the brains of the operation.
Yeah.
I mean, Williams is.
He's more a Landon Roberts now than he is a full coverage guy.
Yeah, he gets everybody aligned. I mean, he was drafted like the pick either before or after Ryan Shazier. I mean, that's how long he's been in the league.
Been a good player.
He's been a real good player, yeah. I mean, he's still getting it done, but he's not flying around the field like he used to.
Yeah. I mean, that's where the Steelers would be at this point with Shazier.
Probably, right.
I mean, you got 10 good seasons out of him.
Yeah, he's the veteran Bobby Wagner.
Now he's starting to slow down a little bit, but he can still get it by with what's
Takes
up about.
Fewer false steps and recognize things more.
But to ask him to go sideline to sideline,
And they're going to leave those two on the field a lot. I mean, they want to have two every down, count on your backers. And Quincy Williams, Quinnen's brother, does fly around the field. I mean, he's a smaller, lighter, fly all over the place. I'm not sure what he weighs, but he plays that way. He's not a super great take-on guy, but get him laterally, he can really run.
But if I can, and that's why I was kind of glad, that Jalen Warren got out there last week and kind of knocked the rust off. I mean, he's your outside runner.
Yeah, 100%, and maybe even a jet sweep or something like that too, just
something
to threaten the edges.
Yeah.
I'm talking about 1 or 2 a game, nothing too crazy, but I definitely think Warren's role as a ball carrier should expand.
Yeah, I think so too.
Not necessarily at the expense of Najee, but just we
just
remember what he used to do.
Yeah, I mean, Najee only had 14 carries last week.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they overworked him.
No, I mean he sat out basically the fourth quarter.
Yeah, so we'll see where that injury report goes tomorrow. Of course, I also expect Mike Tomlin to make an official announcement tomorrow after practice, but it's something we all know that at this point. So Justin Fields spoke to the media today, and I did want to play back one thing that he had to say regarding this whole situation. Neither he nor Russell Wilson would say they've been told anything at this point.
Okay.
But just listen to this Justin Fields answer to a question about how he feels he has played.
Justin, is it a little frustrating if you don't start considering how you played the first 6 games?
I mean, I don't think I played, good enough, if I'm being real with you. If I'm being real with myself, I think if I did play well enough, I don't think there would be any sort of who should be playing, who should not. So at the end of the day, we got a few wins. Of course, I'm glad about that, but there's areas that I could be better at, and I'm just gonna continue to work on those and continue to get better.
And I thought that was the proper perspective for him to take on that.
I like the way he framed it.
And I would completely agree with him. I think he's played well.
Mm-hmm.
He's played well enough for them to win 4 games, but he's not been perfect. There's things he needs to work on, and he'll continue to work on that. If he had played great, would we be having this conversation right now? Probably not.
No. And what did Coach Tomlin say? I mean, we've been good, not great. We need to be great.
They want to be great.
Right. And there's definitely things Fields needs to continue to work on. But since he's been here, he's gotten better at a lot of his faults, if not all of his faults.
Yeah.
So he's still trending in the right direction.
Absolutely. And this is not a situation where the Steelers are giving up on him or moving on from him or anything of that nature. The funny thing is that talked to both quarterbacks today, and they both quoted the exact same scripture from the Bible, like the same passage. I think it was something from from James book, chapter 1, whatever, verse 2. The same exact scripture quote for both of them regarding the situations you're going to go through, trials and tribulations. And for Fields, it was talking about, hey, getting moved out of the starting lineup. For Wilson, it was the injury stuff. These guys are close. They talk a lot.
Yeah, I say we're probably sharing a lot of notes here. Yeah.
So I don't think that was an accident.
Oh, it couldn't have been.
Fields said it early in the morning, and then Wilson said it later in the day. And I'm like, I looked at one of the other reporters. I'm like, same passage, right?
We're doing the exact same thing. Right? That's pretty cool. So I mean, I think they're very much a team.
Yeah.
Teammates, you know.
Absolutely, and I think they will look at this. I mean, last week after the touchdown, the second, I think it was first or second, whichever one it was. Steelers put the video out today on X, the X Twitter, of Fields coming to the sidelines after scoring a touchdown, and one of the first guys there to do the little jump back to thing was Russell Wilson.
Yeah. I mean, you could see it even at camp. You could see it. They get along really well.
These guys like each other. They've known each other for years. This is not. I don't think Fields is looking at this as going, "Oh man, I failed here." We're talking about a guy who, coming into this season, had won 10 games in his career.
Right.
He's now won 4 this season.
Right.
He's
a lot to prove.
One short of his career high set last year. He had 5 wins last year.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's a good way of putting it. He's 1 shy of his career high.
Yeah. I mean this has
been a successful experiment with him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For him, it's been a chance
well,
to show that, even if he doesn't play again for the Steelers this year, and he will.
But his stock went up.
His stock went up. He helped himself.
Yes.
And so, even
and he will see the field again.
Yeah, whether it's here or somewhere else, he made himself. He showed that if you put him in a right situation, he can win games.
He can win games, and you can be a fruitful.
You can have
Yeah,
success.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
He was 10-28 in his carear as a starter in Chicago.
Yeah, that's
you didn't know that coming off of that because he was just asked to be everything.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of change and a lot of instability, and he's also better now.
He's a better player now than he
He's
was.
matured on the field, and I don't think he had any off the field issues. But
no, he never has. No,
he's been really strong that way.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all part of the process, and we'll see where this goes with Russell Wilson. I will say this about some of the comments, and you people know who you are. If you are going into this game hoping that Russell Wilson fails,
I don't get that.
What are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing? And you want to call yourself a Steeler fan, but you hope the quarterback fails. You hope they lose this game. So you're right.
So you're right.
And even if they do lose this game, that doesn't make you right. Tell me how the game went, and then we'll talk about that.
Like I did a night show with Tim Benz and Tom last night, and it was like if they lose this game, it's all going to be Wilson's fault. Maybe it will be. I don't know.
Maybe it will be. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Either,
Who
right?
knows? Who knows? But maybe it won't.
But maybe it won't.
Because nobody wanted to. When they lose in Indianapolis, it wasn't Justin Fields' fault.
Right.
When they lose to the Cowboys, it wasn't Justin Fields' fault. You put up 20 points and 17 points.
Yeah, the offense hasn't been good enough.
It hasn't been good enough. You're averaging 20.7 points, and that's with a 32-point output last week. That half of that was basically gift wrap for you.
It was. I mean, in terms of mistakes and handing the football in good situations.
Block punts and things where you're set up deep in their territory. And, 32 points is nice, but they still only had 290-plus yards.
He's been effective. I mean,
it's been, and again, not ripping on Justin Fields.
No.
This is not that.
I mean, he's not Mr. Trubisky coming off the bench.
No.
Or Duck or he's been one of the best quarterback options they've had since Ben.
Yeah.
If not number one.
But they might have a better one waiting.
I'm psyched to see that.
At least they thought they did when they made all their moves this offseason. They thought they had a better option. So let's see it.
And I know he had a calf, but watching every training camp practice, Wilson was better than Fields in training camp.
Yes.
I mean, it was clear.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get to a break. When we return, we're expected to be joined by Steelers nickel cornerback Beanie Bishop. We'll do that right after this. And welcome back. I am Dale Lolley. He is the Matt Williamson. And, we're joined on the Justin Miller hotline by Steelers cornerback Beanie Bishop. Beanie, we appreciate you hopping on here. I know this is a busy time for you guys during the week here, but this is had to have been a little bit of a whirlwind for you this year as an undrafted guy. What's that been like? The process of not knowing if you're going to make the team. You're not a drafted guy, and then you've been out there and you've played a lot this year.
Thanks for having me, but it was tough. Early on, the process. Obviously, you work all your life, or however long you play football. Since I was 4. So, I've been working since I was 4 years old I've been playing football on draft day and things like that. But, unfortunately, that wasn't my name called. So I just, kind of the case for me. Had the mentality of, going somewhere to, kind of the right fit for me and where I would be able to get the opportunity to, be able to make that, would be whether that's playing defense, special teams, the team, whatever, trying to do whatever I can to be able to make the team, just whatever hard it is to, make the 53-man and play in the NFL and I know how, and it was tough, seeing all of those guys and they drafted guy and, and not being one of those people. But, I just put my names get called, like always, not really, doing any posting on social, head down and work like this and that. Just trying to put the work into media and all, out-compete other guys, for a spot on the team. And
since you weren't drafted, you've had the luxury of at least choosing the team you could go to. I mean, what was most attractive about the Steelers? Was it potential early playing time in the slot, Coach Tomlin, close to West Virginia where you played? I mean, what was attractive to you?
Yeah, just being able to have the compete for the slot job, ability to to obviously a winning organization, who and it's be able to play and win a lot of football games, and I doesn't want to go to the Super Bowl and things like that, and ultimately play on a shot to play for a Hall of Fame coach and a great organization, great defense. So it was just kind of like a match made in heaven, honestly.
Beanie, you guys have a tall task for you facing you this week. Not only did is it Aaron Rodgers, which you knew was going to be Aaron Rodgers, but last week you guys prepared for Davante Adams to be out there. Obviously, he wasn't out there for the Raiders, and then he gets traded to the Jets right before you play them. So there he is. Now you got, obviously, with Wilson and now Davante Adams out there. Do you expect to see a lot of those guys in the slot this week, or how do you go into this week as a team expecting the Jets to kind of utilize those guys?
He played with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay for a long time. Obviously, Davante, and I feel like Aaron Rodgers is really running the offense. So and it's probably going to be the same kind of signals, and so communication with those guys. Obviously, playing together for a long time. Thing how he probably knows where he wants the routes to be. What certain amount of time and things like that, and just way he ran, and ball. And I feel like they're gonna, move to be able to get him the, also with Garrett Wilson and things like that. I feel like Davante around, plug him, into the offense. Obviously, they're just gonna receiver one. So it's gonna be him and he's a kind of fighting for targets a little bit. Him and Garrett Wilson, it's gonna be interesting, but gotta prepare. It's gonna always just honestly, guys aren't in the league for no reason.
Absolutely, and Beanie, speaking of one of those guys who weren't in the league for no reason, the Steelers are going to be honoring the 1974 Super Bowl team, and one of the guys who just went into the Hall of Fame a couple years ago, Donnie Shell, an undrafted guy just like yourself in that 1974 draft class, who went on to make the Hall of Fame. So there's always hope. It doesn't matter how you get there; it's just that you get there.
Sure.
So we appreciate your time, Beanie. We'll let you get back to your day, but we appreciate you calling in, and you take care. Have a good game this weekend. That was Steelers cornerback Beanie Bishop, and that defense is going to be tested this weekend, but they've been largely up to the task this season. Mm-hmm. Should be an interesting one. Anytime you're facing Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. I mean, there's a lot of
they got some serious skill talent. Yeah. And I wonder what they'll do slot-wise.
That's kind of been the big question for me. With Lazard, does Lazard bump into the slot? They kind of rotate those guys through the slot.
Maybe you want. I mean, from a Jets perspective, do you want Lazard's size against Bishop? His physicality.
You might want Adams, or you can see any one of those guys.
Do it. Yeah, maybe they're going to keep him moving around. They got a little bit of the element of surprise working for them in that regard. I wonder. I mean, Beanie's phone was breaking up there a little bit, but I was curious. Maybe he probably would have told me anyways. But imagine being a rookie corner and studying Aaron Rodgers all week. You know what I mean? Like, or Brady or Peyton Manning at the like all-time greats, and be like, man, these guys know like every trick to the trade I've ever seen. You know,
he's been doing it since
guys.
I've been, started watching football.
I mean, there's not much. His rookie year, Beanie was probably 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, he's done his whole football life.
Yeah. Interesting. A little note on that. Minka Fitzpatrick's first career interception came against
Oh, was it? Against
Tom
Rodgers?
Brady.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Rodgers. Okay.
Tom Brady. So,
I guess they were in a division together.
yeah, they're in a division together, so that's a pretty cool one to
That's not bad. Hang on to that ball and tell your grandkids about it.
absolutely. This one was in Tom Brady's hands, then it was in mine.
Yeah, I took it from
I took it from him. We're going to get to a break. That's going to do it for hour number 1 here on The Drive. Matt and I will be back with hour number 2 right after this. And we are back. This is hour number 2 of The Drive here on the Steelers Audio Network. And Matt, the Steelers are hosting a football clinic. You can join former members of the Black and Gold for kids' flag football clinics at Norsterbain Park Saturday, November 9th. Instructors include Mike Logan, Roosevelt Nix, plus Caleb Pierce from the Pittsburgh Passion. Registration for your school-age child is free.
Nice, that's cool.
Free. Go to the calendar page of dve.com and sign up today. Kids Flag Football Clinics are brought to you by U.S. Steel, S&T Bank, Millie's Truck, Pittsburgh. Had some Millie's here a couple of weeks ago. It was very good, right, Justin? And South Hills Auto. So check that out. You can also, get that for free. So
nice, yeah, go check it out.
Maybe meet a couple of former Steelers,
Cool,
have some fun out there. Not too far from my house.
Really?
Yeah, so not too far from your house. That's like right in the middle where our house is, Sousterbain Park.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. It's time for the Fantasy Football Focus, and let's get to the injury reports for today. Tyjae Spears with the hamstring does not practice again Thursday.
Yeah, not looking good there.
Does not look good. Tony Pollard against the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just going to get a lot of volume, great. That's a real good start.
Absolutely. Evan Ingram with that hamstring, limited again today.
He's important to them.
Yeah, I
think he's a high-volume guy.
Don't know if that was something that was expected, but
you would think by now he'd be back.
Missed all that time with the hamstring injury. Thought yesterday that maybe they're just limiting him because of the they don't want him to retweak it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, keep an eye on it though. Yeah. I mean, I think he's definitely a starter for fantasy. He doesn't score a lot of touchdowns, but yeah, he gets a lot of volume.
Yeah. Gabe Davis with the knee injury, limited Thursday.
I'm sure there's some fantasy owners who wouldn't mind him not going. He kind of gets in the way of some of your guys you want to start.
Travis Etienne with a hamstring, limited again Thursday.
Okay.
Remember, they play the Patriots in London.
In London, right.
Yeah.
I think Bigsby's the start. I know people were down on him after last week, but that's because they were losing so bad.
Yeah, I agree. Noah Brown in Washington upgraded to a full participant on Thursday. He's dealing with a groin issue.
I mean, he's not super fantasy relevant, but he's good for their offense and helps Daniels, and he plays a fair amount.
Yeah, there's bye weeks and injuries. Mm-hmm. I mean, none of the Saints receivers are playing tonight.
Oh,
I mean, if you're counting on one of those guys, maybe Noah Brown's something you might want to pivot. It's a good offense.
It's a good offense, scores points.
Yeah. Brian Robinson with the knee injury, limited at practice on Thursday.
Okay. I guess you fire him back up if he's ready to roll.
Alec Pierce with a shoulder, sidelined at practice on Thursday.
He's kind of the Richardson dude, the chuck it deep guy. It's tough to start him. I mean, because he can have down weeks.
It's a dart throw.
It's a dart throw.
It's almost throw him in the flex and just hope.
And hope. I mean, if you're if you're lean,
it's a better DFS play.
Probably. I bet he's cheap.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Mitchell hasn't eaten into his time at all, or much. I mean, he hasn't.
I mean, he's been good, though.
No, Pierce had a good year.
Yeah. Rashid Shaheed, speaking of those Saints receivers, to miss the remainder of the season.
Had surgery today and not coming back.
Meniscus repair, and that's he was having a good year.
Having a good year. He's always been somebody, even in previous years, I thought deserved more snaps.
Yeah.
He didn't have a super high pedigree and probably had a hard time proving himself.
He can fly, though.
He can fly, and he is dynamic, and they're in bad shape.
They really are.
Really bad shape.
Would you play Bub Means tonight if you're up against it?
I mean, I'd be really up against it with a rookie quarterback and no O-line, but he's going to be on the field every snap.
They've got that second team thing going on there that I guarantee you Rattler has thrown
a million passes.
Passes to him already this season. Everybody else is hurt.
I pay attention to Surtain's situation, though, too.
He's not playing.
He's not playing?
No.
We know that? Okay.
He wasn't going to follow Bub Means anyways, but
I wouldn't know what they do. They don't have any receivers.
Right.
What would Surtain do? I didn't realize he was totally out. I knew he was banged up. He probably gets 8 targets.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like it's cheap targets.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're doing a single game DFS type of thing, it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
He'll be on the field.
Trey Sermon with the knee issue back in a limited fashion Thursday. Jonathan Taylor did not practice again today.
I'm guessing it's Sermon and Goodson.
Yeah.
And Sermon could re-aggravate it in the game or whatever, but not a great situation for fantasy.
It really isn't. Michael Pittman, with that back issue, was back in a full participation on Thursday.
Okay. I'm not sure I'm super thrilled to put him in my lineup with Richardson, but you probably don't have a whole lot of better options.
Josh Downs with the toe injury, limited Thursday.
He's been really good, but he takes a little bit of a dip with Richardson.
Jacoby Myers with that ankle injury, not practicing on Thursday.
I wonder if you could – I guess he has been hurt, but, again, I keep thinking about him as a trade candidate. I mean, for where the Raiders are at, he's making some money. He's not the youngest guy in the league, but they don't have a lot of young guys behind him either. Bless you.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, he's a good player, and right now he'd be number 2 in that offense.
And so if he was out there, I mean, their quarterbacks aren't horrendous.
Yeah.
I mean, he at least would be a highly targeted player.
Bowers is like, right now, Evan Ingram, but he actually can score a touchdown.
Yeah. No, I think he's maybe tight end 1 going forward.
Yeah.
Kelsey's probably in the conversation. Kittle's been good. But Bowers doesn't compete with anybody.
Nobody.
You're right. And
Myers when he comes back, but even at that, it's still not. I mean, he's going to be the clear number 1.
There aren't many tight ends that get passes behind the line of scrimmage or, design screens.
I mean, even last week
regularly.
against the Steelers, it was 9 catches for 78 yards, but it was 9 catches for 78 yards.
And most teams don't tackle as well as the Steelers. I mean, you would have had more.
That's it. The Steelers have given up the least yardage after a per tackle attempt in the league.
Yeah, they've been tremendous.
They get guys on the ground.
They do. They get a lot of bodies to the ball. They're faster than they were, and they're a really good tackling team.
Yeah. Tucker Kraft, speaking of the tight end position, limited at practice on Thursday with a groin issue.
Okay. I mean, he's a starter.
Yeah.
I mean, with Musgrave out, that could be rough on some fantasy teams out there.
Christian Watson, limited Thursday.
Okay. That's
ankle
kinda
injury.
his move.
He's always got something.
There's always something.
Jaden Reed, ankle remained limited on Thursday.
Okay. I mean, you're definitely starting him.
Yeah. Jair Alexander, limited again Thursday.
Who do they play again?
They have
Somebody good, I think.
Houston,
yeah. Alexander's important.
Yeah. Or Houston might not have any problems.
Nah.
Ah, you like that? Ian Thomas with a hip issue, limited on Thursday. Tommy Tremble with concussion, practiced in full. I don't care about
tight ends.
tight ends. It doesn't really matter. Ed Oliver, limited Thursday.
That's one of their best interior players. I mean, it's one of their best D linemen. It's one of their best defensive players.
Dalton Kincaid with a collarbone, limited participant on Thursday.
Yeah,
Don't like to see that.
I say it must not be broken, but some kind of bruise.
Well, who was it last? Was it Trey Sermon
we had
last
this
week?
conversation like a week ago.
Yeah.
You rarely see collarbones because it's usually it's broke and you're out, or it's fine.
Yeah, but I would again. We talked about that with the trade. Should open him up more, I would think.
I would think he's been a little disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely want to give him the ball. He's a little redundant with their receivers as he's like a big slot type guy.
Yeah.
But I do think adding Cooper is going to have a ripple effect for all their receivers. Probably
I think so.
good. Yeah.
I think so.
Put them in the roles they're better at.
Yeah. Jonathan Brooks with a knee issue, missed practice Thursday.
I don't think he's going to play this week, but he's inching back.
Ray Davis with a calf injury, limited Thursday, but James Cook was back.
Okay. That's what I was curious about. Is Cook back? And you put him back in your starting lineup, but Davis isn't going to go away.
Yeah, that's a toe issue for James Cook, so there are concerns about that in terms of the cutting and things of that nature.
That's
it's better than the hamstring, though.
It's one of those injuries where sometimes in the second quarter it bugs you and you're not the same, and you start him for fantasy and you're not happy about it because your guy's not in the game a ton.
Yeah. Deontay Johnson with that ankle injury. Now, he had been missing Wednesdays over the last few weeks, did not practice on Thursday.
Okay, he's another potential trade candidate, but he's been really good for fantasy when Dalton's in there.
Yeah. Drake May practiced Thursday. He's dealing with a knee issue.
Okay, that's news to me.
Yeah.
He moved around quite well the other day. He took some hits, though.
Ramondre Stevenson with a foot issue was not practicing Thursday, and then they're flying after practice today. They're probably en route now to London.
Okay. I would imagine injuries in London are slightly less chance of playing. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of guessing on that, but I kind of was under the impression that Stevenson wasn't going to play this week either way.
Would you be interested in Antonio Gibson against the Jaguars?
Sort of. I mean, is he in the top 24? Possibly. I think May helps everybody. I mean, I think that they move the football a little bit more. But I can't see a lot of points in that game either.
No, I don't either.
Bad team.
Yeah. Rashad White said the Buccaneers are going to ride the hot hand at running back. Here's the problem.
He's not the hot hand.
He has not been the hot hand all season.
No.
It's been Bucky Irving, and now...
And then Tucker came on.
And then Tucker added in, yeah.
I don't know. I think that's a stay away. I mean, if I had any of those guys, I think I'd be trying to trade them right now. Three-headed backfields are nightmares.
Nightmare. Speaking of which, Devin Achane with a concussion practiced again on Thursday.
Okay. He's the one that he has not had the season he did last year, but I don't think Tua being out destroys him. I mean, they still manufacture touches for him. The team's not very good around him either, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the blocking's bad, and they kind of miscast him
when
a little bit,
when you
too.
can't throw the ball down the field, all those 50-yard runs go away because nobody fears their passing game right now.
Right. I mean, he still touches the ball a lot, but the quality of touches aren't as good.
Yeah. There goes his great career yards per carry average. Mike Evans with a leg injury did not practice on Thursday. That's something new.
That's very concerning, yeah.
Said he tweaked his leg and did not participate. It's been a nagging injury for him for a while, but it now seems to be threatening his availability for Week 7.
I wonder if it's one of those sit him down for 1 week and hopefully he's over type.
They're playing the Ravens this week, though.
You want to throw a lot.
You want to throw a lot.
Yeah.
Like that Mike Evans.
I bet he plays.
I do, too. Malik Neighbors with the concussion, a full participant.
Good. Steelers have to deal with him next week, though.
Next week. Marvin Harrison Jr. with the concussion, also practicing on Thursday. So both of those guys trending. Harrison, of course, hasn't missed as much time, although he took a 0 for us last week in the DFS lineup.
But you often see these concussions linger past a week, and it's good that his isn't, it looks like.
Nick Chubb will likely be limited in some capacity in his first game back, as most would expect. Pierre Strong will likely see some touches as well after leading the Browns' backfield last weekend.
Well, they're desperate. I mean, they're going to get him in there as soon as possible, but I don't think he'd get a big workload.
Would they bring Nick Chubb back, get him looking good, and then trade him at the deadline?
Maybe. It's not a bad move. I mean, if he looks the same, I think he'd be a great trade candidate.
Yeah.
If he looks close to
Because
the
he only
player
signed
he
for the
was.
rest of this season.
Right, and he's really, really cheap. I mean, they had to restructure his deal. So he's not killing their cap, but, man, I mean, put him on Dallas or something like that if he's back to being the same guy, which I...
Well, if he's back to being the same guy,
that's
anybody would take him.
That's a different world, right. He's a tremendous football player.
Absolutely.
Or was.
Yeah. This is interesting. The Bills signed Lucas Haverslick to their practice squad. He's a place kicker, putting a little pressure on Tyler Bass, who's missed some kicks of late.
Him and the Jets were missing kicks in the windy
That was a tough
stadium.
condition. Yeah,
it really was. It was like kicking in a washing machine. But Bass is not one of the best guys in the league.
Right. Yeah, but it's a good situation that just got better this week.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're going to move the football.
No doubt.
Max Crosby with an ankle injury, missed practice on Wednesday. He also said the owner came out and said, hey, we're not trading Max Crosby, so get that out of here now.
Yeah. And I totally get that. I mean, you can't just totally gut your team. It's one of the few things that are going right.
Cooper Kupp was limited on Wednesday. We're into the West Coast stuff here. So
these are all yesterday stuff.
Yeah, it looks like he's on track to possibly return this week. But Jordan Whittington, who has been one of the Cooper Kupp replacements, he was limited with a shoulder injury yesterday.
Would you throw Kupp right back in your lineup if he
Yes.
plays? I would too.
If he is active,
Yeah, he'll get a ton of targets.
Yeah.
Especially with Puka not there.
might be 20-plus targets again.
Yeah, I think he's right back to being maybe even receiver one.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder how cheap he'll be in DFS.
Worth noting.
Yeah,
it's worth
after
noting.
He's been out for a bit.
Deebo Samuel limited at practice on Wednesday with a wrist issue.
That offense is weird now. I mean, I just heard this today. Like, they're last or at the bottom of the league in run after the catch. I mean, they've led the league like every year Shanahan's there and run after the catch, and it's more Purdy throwing deep and more shotgun, and they're just kind of doing things differently right now.
And one
With
final
McCaffrey too.
No,
you know?
yeah.
That's part of it.
One final one here that is worth noting. T.J. Hawkinson officially limited at practice on Wednesday.
Are you firing him right back up if he's in the lineup?
Yes.
I am too.
His 21-day window has been open now for about a week. They could activate him this week. They could wait.
Against the Lions, his old team.
Yeah.
I mean, you know he wants to play.
Absolutely. This
I
might have been the
think
one he circled when he saw the schedule
Right.
come out.
Like, if I can get back for that one, Coach, can I get in there? I'm like, yeah, sure.
If it's,
and they need him.
let's say it's 15 routes for TJ. You know going into the game that it's 15 routes for TJ Hawkinson. Given the state, given the state of tight ends right now, I'm still putting him out there.
Oh, I'm not. That's not enough for me. But I mean,
if he's going to be out there, they're going to throw to him.
Oh yeah, but I mean that's probably 3 or 4 targets. That's not enough for me.
Okay.
I mean, I bet you can come up with 12 better names than that. But I bet if he plays,
you think they want to get him in the end zone in this game, his first game back?
I get it.
All that stuff. I think they might.
I just think he'll play more than that.
I think so too.
I mean, that's a low number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think if he's back, he's back.
Mm-hmm.
Now it might take him a little time to knock the rust off again.
Right.
Seen some guys come back from those knee injuries, and
But I mean, the question for me is if he's active, he's in my lineup.
yeah.
I mean, I think that's unless
This is what you drafted him and held on to him for.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I have a better option. Maybe I'm the team that took Kelsey and
Yeah.
threw Hawkins. Took Hawkins in the 12th round because he's was hurt on draft day. Well, then no. But I mean, assuming you're a normal tight end owner and struggling right now, you're thrilled to have him back.
Yeah. Fortunately for me, I have Bowers in our league.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Everybody else had already drafted their tight ends, and I'm like,
yeah.
I'll take this Brock. I'll take Brock Bowers. Why not?
That's worked out.
Worked
great.
out pretty
the
well.
Adams trade helps him too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to do it for the fantasy football folk. Well, not quite. Interested in anybody in tonight's game? I am not.
What about Kamara?
Denver's defense is tough.
I know, and the O-line is wrecked, and there can be very little
I
passing
still think
game.
the one dart throw, Bob Means, telling you.
I mean, but if you have Kamara, you're probably
You're gonna play
starting
him,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I wouldn't expect a lot. I was kind of hoping for Taysom Hill, just because
that's not going to happen.
Weird stuff with him, But how about Denver guys? Sutton?
I guess.
I mean, he's a borderline starter on his best day. It's a
Yeah.
short week on the road against a good defense, and Lattimore and those guys too.
Nix just doesn't throw the ball down the field.
I mean, what about their backs?
No.
I'm not real psyched about Javante or any of those guys.
Yeah. I
I don't. Both defenses.
that might be it.
I mean, Broncos defense is probably the start of the week, but it's on the road on a short week and not an easy place to play, and
Yeah.
I usually shy away from those things.
Yeah. So there's not much to like about this one.
No, I think the Denver wins,
I do too.
which is bad for the Steelers. You want the AFC teams to lose, but
Yeah.
the Saints are really vulnerable right now.
You beat the Broncos. You got to head to head against them.
I'd be shocked though if that would be a winning record for them. Are they 3-3 right
They
now?
would be 4-3. Yeah.
Be 4-3. Wow, I don't
Yeah,
see it from that.
shows you how the AFC West their schedule this year, because the Broncos and the Chargers they don't play anybody this year.
No, they got a nice soft landing spot. I bet one of those two ends up in the playoffs.
Maybe
Yeah.
they're good enough to beat some teams. They're bad enough to lose to anybody.
Oh, 100%. 100%. They both play good defense.
Yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for the Fantasy Football Focus. Matt and I are going to take a break. We'll be back with more right after this on The Drive. Welcome back. I am Dale Lolley. He is the Matt Williamson, and it's The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. And Matt, with the quarterback situation being what it is here in Pittsburgh, let's take a look at Nick Shook's quarterback index.
Okay, we've done that for a while.
Yeah, on NFL.com. See where I imagine he still has Justin Fields ranked. I haven't looked at it yet, but I imagine Justin Fields is ranked on here, and we'll see just what kind of move the Steelers are making this week. At number 32,
I'd have Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson.
Good. I mean, he is
32.
does not belong on the field. I mean, it's overwhelming at this point.
Yeah.
I'd rather take my chance with Spencer Rattler or Levis or he does not belong
Anybody.
on the field, right?
Yeah. At 31, Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, that's fair.
He was on the Browns roster.
I guess so.
And they cut him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's where they're at.
That's where they're at.
At 30, unranked last week, Aiden O'Connell.
I think that's what he is. I don't think he's one of the top 32 quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, the numbers last week looked better than what they actually were.
A lot of it was fourth quarter stuff, too.
Yeah, when all the starters have been yanked out.
Yeah.
It's 32-7, and you're.
I think he'll be a backup for 10 years.
At 29, unranked last week, Drake May.
I'd be higher on May than that. He makes mistakes, but boy, he's got a lot of talent and he's aggressive.
Here's the thing: he's completing 58% of his passes.
Okay.
Thrown 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
And a fumble. Like,
yeah.
You have to
There's
take
going to be a lot of bad.
You have to take into account the bad as well as the good. This isn't like a fantasy football ranking. If it were a fantasy football ranking, he might be higher.
That line he played behind.
I get it.
I mean, I hadn't
but
even
what
heard
did
of
he
three of
do
those
behind
dudes.
it? It wasn't
A lot of good.
There was good, but there's
Yeah.
also a lot of bad.
And there's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's who he is. I mean, even with a good line, there's going to be bad. But, man, I would take my chance to win a game with him over some of the other guys.
Well, I'd have him ahead of the next
Rattler
guy on
and
here,
those
is Spencer Rattler at 28.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just
I'd have him ahead of Bo Nix.
At 27, Will Levis. I'd have him ahead of Will Levis.
Yeah, right.
I agree with you on that. At 26 is Bo Nix.
Okay.
I mean, he's been the ultimate junk time quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of his stats have been padded.
At 25, Daniel Jones.
I don't know what to think of him. I mean, it's real easy just to bash him, and he stinks. He's not worth the contract. And
He's looked good when he's had neighbors in there.
that's the thing. It's like
He hasn't looked as good when he hasn't had neighbors in there.
he has not reached the bar of being the 5th pick in the draft and being that contract, but that doesn't mean he's the worst quarterback in the league either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's actually,
I mean, I'd have him over all the guys listed.
if you look at the way that they play,
Mm-hmm.
there's actually a lot of Drake May's game in Daniel Jones.
Oh, yeah, without question. They're both aggressive runners. I mean, I think May's more talented. You know, I mean, he's better passer of the football, but he's a lot younger.
Ironically, they're
22.
both North Carolina guys. Or no, I guess he was Duke. Daniel Jones
Yeah,
is Duke. They're Carolina
rivals
guys.
in
Yeah.
basketball.
But, I mean, I see some similarities there.
I do too. I'd much rather have May to build around, but
Well, he's a younger guy.
Yeah.
At 24, up 2 spots, Andy Dalton.
He's been solid. Still a starter.
Yeah.
You think he'll be a starter next year
No.
with a first-round pick in the back?
Yeah. I think he's the perfect guy for that at this
really.
point in his
I
career.
think he's proven he can do that.
He's moving into Flacco land.
Yeah. Side note: Bill Barnwell wrote an article today. I think it was Barnwell, just having fun with trades. Bryce Young to the Dolphins, he put out there. Like, I would be interested in that if I was the Dolphins. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I think he had him going for a 4th-round pick or something. I'm sure Bryce Young will see the field, but I just thought that was an interesting angle for both teams.
At 23, down a spot, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, he's played better the last couple of weeks.
They drop balls left and right.
They're the hardest watch in the league, and their vibes are horrible, and they don't want to be there, but he has not played well.
No. At 22, down a spot, Justin Fields. I thought earlier in the
That's
season,
fine.
he was playing perhaps better than that.
Yeah,
The last couple of games have not been as good
as a passer in particular.
as a passer in particular. Yes,
Right.
The running has been fine.
Yeah, and that adds value.
Yeah,
I think that's about right.
but it's 5 touchdown passes, 1 interception, 5 rushing touchdowns. Great.
It's great.
6 fumbles.
Right.
Can't have the fumbles.
No, I mean, I've heard a lot of people that are on the field side of things, and I get it. His turnover ratios or his TD to intercept or turnover ratio is tremendous. It is, but he's fumbled 6 times and just happened to recover them all. You know what I mean? Like that. It's still dangerous.
Right.
You know,
You're living on the edge a little bit.
you know, an interception called back. I know he's had some touchdowns called back too, but
At 21, down 3 spots, Jalen Hurts.
that's where Hurts belongs now. Like, I was joking that he might get Carson Wentz and Eagles draft one in the 2nd round next year and trade him to someone, and he is not living up to the bill.
No. To be fair, the last couple of weeks were without his dudes.
I know.
Now he's got them all back. Last week should have been better than what it was, particularly against Cleveland's defense, which has been.
Did you see their head coach yelling at fans and stuff too? Like he does a lot of volatile stuff. Like I don't know if he's gonna be back next year.
That's rough.
Yeah.
At 20, up 3 spots, Justin Herbert.
He's a better football player than that.
He's averaging 6.5 yards per attempt.
I know.
Like they've turned him into a game manager.
Last week was a little more than that. He was actually looking like himself a little bit more, but no, he's been neutered.
He's fumbled 4 times.
Does he?
Worth watching. At 19, up 6 spots, Caleb Williams.
He's getting better quickly. That might be a little rich.
Still 6.6 yards per attempt.
I mean, I would not put him over Herbert.
5 interceptions and 3 fumbles.
Yeah. A lot of that was early.
A lot of it was early, and I get it.
Right.
He had a good game, but it was against the Jaguars last week. Let's not get carried away.
I think their last couple games have been pretty soft opponents.
At 18, up a spot, Aaron Rodgers.
I still might have him higher.
5 interceptions, 2 fumbles.
Yeah. They're throwing too much, too.
Yeah. At least they have been. 17, down 2 spots, Sam Darnold.
Haven't seen him in a while, but wasn't his best day. But
he has 5 fumbles.
Does he? It wasn't his best day, but it's against good Jet defense. He's had a really good year.
He has. At 16, down 3 spots, Matthew Stafford.
It's a little disrespectful. He's throwing to Whittingham behind a no offensive line.
Yeah, he can't elevate like he used to, though.
No, I mean, he's getting up there, and I mean, I don't know that he's much longer for this league.
He's got 3 touchdown passes in 5 games.
Yeah. I mean, the stats I know are bad. Like, he's unusable for fantasy, and
right.
I mean, I get that.
At 15, down 3 spots, Kyler Murray.
He's come back to earth a little bit the last couple of weeks, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he was starting hot, and now he hasn't been elevating people around him either.
At 14, up 2 spots, and he's getting benched this week, Joe Flacco. Anybody talking about Joe Flacco getting benched in Indianapolis? Is the talk that we're having right now in Pittsburgh happening in Indianapolis?
It gives him a better chance to win.
Right.
I mean, I don't know that he's better at football than Aaron Rodgers and Justin Herbert, but he's done really, really well in a Colts uniform.
He's only thrown 1 interception thus far.
I know. And he's risky with the ball, too. I mean, it's not
could have had another one against the Steelers, at least one.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
Right. No, he'll get it in there.
13 up a spot, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, he's playing pretty well.
Last week wasn't a 500-yard game.
No, right. But
yeah.
No, he looks like what they bought on the open market.
At 12, down 5 spots, Dak Prescott.
I don't know why he'd be down.
It was a rough showing for everybody.
They were horrible, but right.
They just didn't show up against Detroit.
I don't know if he's a worse player than he was a week ago.
At 11, up 6 spots, Jordan Love.
Climbing. He's really good. He's really talented. He's thrown a lot of touchdowns. He might be higher for me.
He's been pretty good.
Yeah.
10, down 2 spots, Geno Smith.
They're throwing too much.
The yards are nice. Bad. He only has 6 touchdown passes in 6 games.
Yeah.
He hasn't thrown multiple touchdown passes in a game this season.
They got major O-line problems, too.
Yeah. 9 up a spot, Brock Purdy.
Having a really good year. And more's been asked of him than ever.
Yeah. They haven't had all the guys there.
Right.
At 8 up a spot, Baker Mayfield.
He's playing like the 8th best quarterback. I don't think he's the 8th best quarterback, but that's a pretty long stretch over the last.
This will be a big test this week against the Ravens.
100%, because he's going to have to be the 300-yard passer type, to win that game.
3 touchdown passes. And
he's played against them a lot. I mean, obviously it's been a while, but he's aggressive.
At 7 up 4 spots, Jared Goff. Last 2 games have been really good.
Really good. Yeah.
He's had like 5 incompletions. He's completing 71.1% of his passes.
I was going to say, really
and averaging
accurate.
8.9 yards per attempt.
Yeah. Throwing to good dudes, and he's a good situation, but he's good.
Yeah. He's been the only guy thus far this season who has used play action more than Justin Fields.
Yeah, 100%. Much different style of quarterback, too, but right.
It's what the Steelers want to do.
I don't think the play action percentage is going down with Wilson.
No, it might go up.
It might go up.
At 6, holding steady, Jaden Daniels.
I think that's fair. Again, I don't know that he'll end the season at 6.
He's tough to play against.
He's really tough to play against. He's really composed.
He's still
very accurate.
75.3% of his passes
I know.
in the NFL.
It's unbelievable.
And he's averaging 8.5 yards per attempt.
And I know they lost last week, but I think he still passed a tough test.
Yeah.
I mean, he's here to stay.
At 5, C.J. Stroud.
Yes.
That's
Their
what-
O-line's been a real problem. And without Mixon, they had no running game. Andy lost his number 1 receiver. He's been playing really, really well.
At 4, Josh Allen.
Yeah, his numbers are a little down, but I still think he's the second best
He hasn't
quarterback
thrown an
going.
interception this season. Like,
He has 0?
yeah.
And I knew he was 0 a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I mean, I think he's the second best quarterback in the league, but I don't think he's having the second best season.
At 3 down a spot, Joe Burrow.
Okay. I mean, I think those top couple were pretty obvious. Burrow's really looking good.
2 up a spot is Mahomes, and then 1 is
I think Lamar 1.
Lamar, number 1.
I think he'd be MVP if the league ended today.
I think I'd vote for Henry.
I mean, he's been really valuable for him, but Lamar's playing really, really well. And I mean, running backs just never win it. Doesn't mean he's not valuable.
I'm just saying, Henry to me has been the more. I mean, it's kind of opened things up even more so for Lamar.
It's a really good marriage between the two of them.
And we thought it would be. I was questioning their offensive line. I still question their offensive line, but
It's getting a little better though.
they cover some of that stuff up because they're so difficult to play against.
Yeah, their guards and centers have been better. Rosengarten's a problem at right tackle.
Yeah,
They put Macari in at guard, and he's been fine. He stabilized.
You
things
knew
a
he
little
could do
bit.
that,
right?
yeah.
That's the beauty of him. He could play 5 spots. I get Lamar number 1. I mean, no one's better than Mahomes, but in terms of who's having the best year, Mahomes isn't even in the top 5.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's thrown 6 interceptions.
Does he have 6?
Yeah, in 5 games, 6 touchdown passes, 6 interceptions.
Yeah, well, he hasn't been great. He's said it a couple times publicly. He's like, I'm not having a great year.
Yeah,
but he is great. I'll take him.
All right, Chris Collinsworth.
I'll take him. Superstar.
Anyways, that's the list there on NFL.com put together by Nick Shook. You mentioned that that article.
Tough list to build.
Really is,
It is.
because there's a lot of guys who you expect to be better than what they are. Mahomes, Allen.
Yeah. And guys like Rodgers and Stafford
And it's been up and down.
hard to rank. Guys that have great bodies of work. Or even like Flacco has a really good body work, but he's a backup that played great.
Yeah. You mentioned the Barnwell piece. He put together 12 trades that should happen.
There's some Steelers, or there's a Steeler one in there.
Yeah. He is the Chiefs trading for a 5th-round pick for DeAndre Hopkins. If the cost is only a 5th-round pick,
sign me up.
Sign me up for that.
I'd be interested in that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. For the Steelers. He has Hassan Reddick for a 2026 6th-round pick. Here's the problem with that.
For a 6th-round pick?
Yeah.
Reddick?
If the Jets trade him,
Yeah.
right now they owe Philadelphia a 3rd-round draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
If they trade him, they owe a 2nd-round draft pick.
So
they're
I did know that.
They're
right.
not trading him for a 6th-round
And I
draft
said the
pick in
6th part
2026.
doesn't count. I mean, maybe you'd lose a round, but he's not 4 rounds less valuable than
2
he was.
years from now.
Right. Yeah.
That's not happening.
They could be the team that trades for him, but they're going to give up more than that.
You mentioned the Bryce Young going to the,
I just found that
to
kind
the
of an interesting
Dolphins
angle.
for a 2025 conditional 4th-round pick. I don't see the Panthers moving on from him yet.
Probably not. If I were them, I'd want to play him more this year.
Yeah.
But if I were the Dolphins, he might be somebody I would have some interest in if he's on the market.
The Commanders trading Emmanuel Forbes, and if they get a 5th-round pick for a 2025 6th-round pick for Emmanuel Forbes to the Chargers. He's not playing at all.
Yeah, his 1st-round pick just a year ago. Their defense isn't good, really, in Washington.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting nothing back in that deal.
No.
I don't know.
I can't see why they would move on this quickly.
If you're going to give me a 3rd, maybe,
The Cowboys get a running back from the Bears. They get Khalil Herbert for a 2025 6th-round draft
I've
pick.
had people talking about that for 6 months. I mean,
Yeah.
Herbert seems like an easy guy to move. He's a free agent after the year.
The Steelers get Mike Williams for a 2025 7th-round draft pick.
I'll do it for 7.
I wouldn't be done at the wide receiver position. I'd
No,
still
no.
look for something else.
Right. But if you can give me I'm going to give him next to nothing for him, just pay him for the rest of the year. Sure.
He's making nothing.
He's a pretty good deal, yeah.
$800,000 the rest of the year. Like, okay.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize he signed that cheap. Must have been a big bonus.
There's a bonus involved, yeah.
Yeah.
The Saints get Kendre Miller from the they send Kendre Miller to the Raiders for offensive tackle Andres Pete.
Goes back to the Saints.
Saints.
Well, they both need those positions.
Yes.
Now, Pete's not playing for the Raiders.
The Dolphins apparently are going to be very active.
Yeah,
at
they're
the
just
trade
trading
deadline.
everybody.
They get a 2025 sixth-round draft pick for Jeff Wilson Jr. and a 2025 seventh-round draft pick from the 49ers.
Again, sending one back home.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I guess there's some running back
Not
injuries.
super exciting.
No, I'm not sure I'd even type
Nor
that
is
one
this
up.
next one. The Cardinals send Zach Pascal and a 2025 seventh-round pick to the Cardinals, and the Cardinals get a 2025 sixth-round pick. Zach Pascal is not somebody is not somebody we've been talking about wide receivers this entire offseason. We've not mentioned Zach Pascal once.
Exactly. Like I bet the trade deadline's more exciting than that.
Yeah.
The
Colts get from the Bills Kaiir Elam for a 2025 sixth-round draft pick.
Yeah, he's a big corner. This former first-round pick that hasn't worked out for Buffalo. Somebody else might want to try it.
Yeah. The Eagles get tight end Tanner Hudson and a seventh-round pick in 2026 for 2026 sixth-round pick.
I mean, we're just trading junk here now,
Yeah.
Bill. I mean, these are guys that are like
these are like
roster
some guys
players.
offer you in fantasy. Like,
right.
How about junk for junk? No.
I mean, these are all pick swaps at 6 and 7 for third-string tight ends and stuff. Yeah.
This one would be interesting. The Panthers get a 2025 conditional sixth-round pick for Miles Sanders from the from the Chiefs. He goes to the Chiefs in a 2025 conditional seventh-round pick.
I bet he's not a Panther at the end of the year.
There's no reason for him
There's
to
no
be.
reason. Brooks is maybe as soon as Brooks is healthy, he comes back. Or Sanders is gone.
Yeah.
Maybe be released.
Barnwell had to go deep with some of these.
Too deep. Too deep. Yeah.
Too deep.
Right. Mike Williams is fine.
Yeah.
And that's even for a seventh.
Yeah.
Pascal. I mean, come on. I mean, what are we talking about here?
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet bigger names get moved than that.
I think so too. There's some other receivers out there I'd make a pitch for.
Yeah. I think teams like Jacksonville could move several guys.
Absolutely.
I might have thrown ATN's name in there, Kirk. Those type of guys.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. He is the Matt Williamson. Tongue didn't work there for a second. I'm Dale Lolley. You're listening to The Drive here on the Steelers Audio Network. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more right after this. Welcome back. I am Dale Lolley. He is the Matt Williamson, and this is The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. And Matt, Cleveland Browns going to be on the move again.
On the move. Well, they're staying in Cleveland.
Sort of.
I didn't know where. I mean,
they're moving out to the suburbs, out to Brook Park, which is about 9 miles from downtown.
Okay.
Cleveland, on the western side of the city, southwest of the city.
Okay. They're building a new stadium, folks, is what's going on here.
A $2 billion, well, I think it was $2 billion.
$2 billion.
Might be more than that, actually. But, yeah, it's not going to be cheap. It's going to be a domed stadium. That'll be the only domed stadium in the AFC North. Kind of defeats the purpose. Like, that's not AFC
so
North
different,
football.
Right. As I said, I just can't imagine the Browns playing in a dome. I could maybe envision the Steelers or Ravens more than that. I mean, like, by the lake and the wind and all that craziness.
You're losing all the advantage that you had. Now, that being said, they do have a game or two every year that are affected by weather.
I was about to say the same thing. I remember they played it wasn't last year, it was the year before. Raiders were one of them. Like 2 of their 3 games in a row were just slop fest. Who knows who wins? You really don't have an advantage necessarily. Sometimes it's so bad.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's not at least retractable.
That would make some sense.
Yeah, right. Maybe it's more
maybe it
expensive.
is. I have no idea. I haven't looked
Yeah.
into that enough. But
always something changing in Cleveland.
Supposed to open in 2028.
That's what I was going to ask. Do we know when that's ready for action?
That stadium opened 1 year before Acrisure Stadium opened.
Did it?
1999, the Steelers Stadium opened the next year.
Yeah, I guess that adds up. I don't think Steelers are moving on from their stadium anytime soon.
No.
Yeah, right. Well, is there a major need to do it, or do you think it's because
they had
wanted the dome?
some plans? They could have. The city offered to upgrade the stadium and spend money to do that, and they said, "Yeah, no,
What's this rebuild?
we're going to go out." They bought the land, and that's official now, and
Okay.
they're going to do it.
They're going to do it. Well, I wonder if Watson will be there. bet not.
By 2028, I'm going to say no.
No, they might still be finally getting over that.
That might be why they need to build a new stadium. They need the revenue to be able to pay him.
Pay him, right.
Yeah. Just saying.
That organization's always in turmoil.
Joe Burrow was listed on the injury report for the Cincinnati Bengals today with right wrist and shin injuries. The right wrist that's what he had operated on last year.
He's been fighting through that all year, and he's gotten much better as the season's gone on, too. I think
still
he'll fight
not
it all
where
year.
he typically is, though.
I agree. And then now there's another one on top of it, huh? Interesting. I mean, it's been a crazy career with him with injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's had one training camp that he's had the whole time. He's had, a multitude of injuries. Him and Herbert coming in the same year. There's always something with both of them. And they still play well, but you just wonder, what if they were healthy for a whole year?
Yeah, I just don't know that we're ever going to get to see that. I mean, their offensive line's a problem. Again.
Yeah, it's not great.
Again, even last week playing the Giants, and the Giants have a good pass rush.
They do. One of the best.
But guys get beat too quickly.
Yeah. Mims is a work in progress. The interior is very average. I wonder if they'll still keep dumping resources into it or how they'll handle the offseason.
Yeah.
O-line wise.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Cleveland could keep the score down in that one at least.
Yeah. If you're the Steelers this week, Matt, how are you attacking this Jets defense, knowing that your offensive line, you're missing your center? This will be the fifth offensive line they've started thus far this season. People are like, well, the offensive line hasn't been good. No, it hasn't been healthy.
It hasn't been healthy,
season.
which is really tough. It's just a revolving door all over the place. And I really dislike Frazier being out of the lineup. I mean, as well as he's played and starting to really gel with McCormick, too, on double teams and things like that. And Siamalu is a stabilizing force. I do like the idea of running on the edges. I definitely think running against this team in general has been fruitful, I think the idea of attacking second and third corners makes tons of sense. I don't know if they have a wonderful Freiermuth answer. They're not bad against tight ends or anything, but I wouldn't shy away from that. Pickens has shown that he can do battle with the Surtains of the world. I mean, it doesn't mean it's Revis Island and never going to hear from him again. I don't think that's the case. Might want to shorten the game though. I think time of possession is really big in this one. And if you get a consistent run game going, but frankly, it worries me. I mean, I don't see wonderful strength or wonderful Steeler advantages when they have the ball. The Frazier injury is part of it.
I would go to a quicker passing game. Maybe some more slants and things that we just haven't seen a lot of. I just don't know that Fields
throws not really his style.
That's not his style.
The quick crossings, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to look different. I mean, I'm sure the play calls will be different. Some of the route structures will be different. Maybe even more play action, even though they're heavy in that regard. But yeah, I don't mind a quick passing game at all. They have a good pass rush too.
Yeah, get those corners thinking, because a lot of the Steelers stuff early in this season has been more vertical related. Because again, that fits more into what Fields can do.
Right.
But just more quick in-cutting stuff.
Yeah, and their linebackers are good players, but I still
Mike Pursuit, everybody.
They just come scrolling in,
just walking right into the show.
Yeah. We're on YouTube, by the way, so smile. There's cameras here.
Everybody saw you there.
Like he owns the place.
I think this was his studio or something,
Yeah, come on, man. What were we talking about? Something about the Jets and Steelers or something?
Yeah, something silly about that. But, no, I mean, I would try to attack them and again, slow those linebackers down. If they're going to crash the line of scrimmage, as teams have been doing, I want to hit that quick.
Yeah, safeties and linebackers have been coming downhill too abruptly, and I think you have to beat them over the top. Play action, as you mentioned, I think crossers and more in-cutting stuff would make sense too, And Wilson historically hasn't been a great over-the-middle passer. That doesn't mean he can't do it or won't do it,
I will say this, and I don't know how this might affect the game, but Sean Smith's crew is scheduled to do this one.
I'm not familiar with.
They call 11.8 penalties per game, which is the fourth fewest in the league.
Okay.
False starts have been the penalty and you have to call those.
I say that's not even optional.
Yeah, they've called 18 of those. Holding is second with just 10. So basically, they've averaged 2 per game. They've done 5 games. They've only called.
That's low on the holding.
Yeah. Only 2 defensive pass interference penalties this year. The Jets, of course, are tied for third in the league in pass interference penalties with 8.
I would bet Sauce and Porter are happy about that.
Yeah.
They both can be grabby and long and, all over people.
Yeah, so just something to keep an eye on there that maybe it won't be a flag fest like what we see.
Most Jets games are, though. I mean, they're a heavily penalized team.
This is a standalone game, and that seems to be kind of the MO for the league this year, that we've seen more of those kind of calls. Yeah.
Yeah. Steelers have been in their share of penalties, too. They're not great in that regard. Jets are bad.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's something just to keep an eye on there. But, Matt, that's going to do it for the show today.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Well, I don't know if it's a plan, but it's the end.
It is the plan. I love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah, I do, too. For my partner, Matt Williamson, for Justin Miller here on site, manning the Justin Miller hotline and keeping us on the air, and for Tyler Vittmeyer, making sure our video makes it out there on YouTube, and Mike Pursuta for making a guest appearance on said video. We appreciate him walking by. I'm Dale Lolley. Thank you for listening to this edition of The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network.
Steelers football happens here. The Pittsburgh Steelers Audio Network.